Welcome to your November monthly reading for 2025. This month we are going to use two decks. We're going to use the Priestess of Light Tarot and there's a Magdalene card in here about misunderstandings that keeps popping up in my head. I don't know if it's actually going to appear in a reading today, but there is something about misunderstandings, clarification, and specifically like clearing some things up about you. It feels like you would like to correct some narratives. It's kind of a political energy. It's kind of a PR energy. It's kind of a media training energy. But there is sort of a feeling that you are entering into new phases and into new spaces. And as you're doing so, I want to say it's like one more thing before I go. And you seem to want to make a statement, or you want to clear something up, or you want to make something very clear. Maybe I'm hearing attendance about who may not attend to you in this new season, or you maybe are finally speaking some truth to power or sharing your part of the story. I'm hearing like, hey, by the way, like maybe you didn't know this, but actually when all that was going on, so was this. There seems to be some, I don't know, like residual, how do I want to phrase this? Criticism, again, misunderstanding about who you are, about what your intentions are, and maybe even like certain roles. I'm hearing role reversal. There may be certain situations where you perhaps were the one who was being antagonized, or you were kind of getting like the short end of the stick in some way, and other people maybe made it seem as though like you were the aggressor in a situation, or you were poking the bear when in actuality, and there's something about silence. I'm wondering if a few things had happened to you that you elected to stay quiet about, and other people manipulated your silence as your admission of guilt. See, Cancer's not even standing up for themselves. See, they're not correcting the narrative. Like, see, they must have no problem with this. Really taking your silence as an admission of guilt when that actually is not the case at all. I feel like we're approaching matters from this is so ridiculous, I shouldn't even have to like entertain this or glorify it with a response. There's something about like some of the things that have happened to you in the distant and maybe not so distant past where like undignified is the word that I want to use. We're undignified, and you did not want to validate them with any kind of retort or response. And even in the energy, it almost feels very like corporate. Like I put my hair back and I have all my button up and I'm like, no. Again, it feels very like corporate speak. It feels very much like PR. And it's kind of like your exit statement you're making. Maybe I'll write that down as your title. Feels like you're kind of making an exit statement before you move on to greener pastures. And I do feel as though you're moving on to greener pastures, Cancer, even though I almost just called you Taurus, which is interesting because I did Taurus's reading quite a while ago. And as I say pasture, I'm actually seeing you standing in a field, and I actually see cows. So there might be something about cows, about country, farm life, pastoral living, or maybe even potentially, some like deities or some spirits that are associated with cattle. You being ruled by the moon are ruled by a celestial body. And there is something about like deities and particular spirits, like spirits that you can name, that are like part of the folklore that are coming through as well. So I want to say like there is like an Avenger squad of like spiritual assistants that's like kind of corralling around you this month in a way they haven't before. And for you, I feel a little bit of, well, where the hell have you been the whole entire time? Like, thanks for showing up at the end. There's a bit of offense in your energy. You seem to be a bit offended about how some people treated you. You also seem to be kind of offended at, I want to say, and it's not a glamorous way to say this, that some people would be so stupid as to believe some of the things that maybe like were said about you or assumed about you. I feel like assume is big here. Like people assumed a lot of things without following up with you, not asking you questions, clarifications. They just like took things at like face value. And again, there's a bit of an offense of like, how could you be so stupid as to even believe that? Like, you actually know me, or like, we actually go back. Like, and so it's sort of offensive that people would like assume or readily believe that like you would do something that like you wouldn't do. And it's very much a circumstance where someone might like throw a rock and then hide their hand and then point at you and go, oh my God. There may be a history of that. They're trying to point out something here, Cancer, about like childhood. So I don't know if you had siblings or you had friends, and they're showing me what's the name of that movie? It's an old movie from the 80s, not to age or date anyone, and it had Macaulay Culkin, and I think it had Elijah Wood. I think is it The Good Son or The Perfect Child? It's something like that, where like Elijah Wood, I feel like he goes to stay with like some family, like maybe like his aunt and some cousins, and I want to say like his cousin is Macaulay Culkin, and he has like a demonic attachment, or he is like the personification of like the devil or like the Antichrist, and they call him Damien, I think is maybe his name, or it's what they call him. It's like this little devil child, and throughout the movie he's constantly like up to all of this mischief and a lot of like these really bad things, but he is consistently blaming them, like I think on Elijah, I think that's who it is, Elijah Wood, on his cousin who's like the good one and like kind of not doing anything. And I'm getting like an image of that, like again, like people hiding, throwing a rock and hiding their hands, and there may be instances all throughout your life, whether it's siblings, friends, friends' parents blaming you for their child's bad behavior is what I'm seeing. Like maybe you've had friends growing up that were like super naughty and doing things they weren't supposed to do, and when their parents confront them, they go, oh, well, Cancer told me to do it, or Cancer convinced me that that's what, you know, that's what it was. And so people seem to like to blame or pass their bad behavior off on you, and there's something here about you being so forgiving, that you forgive people. You go, oh, like you have this beautiful divine ability to see the very flawed and complicated humanness in others and why they do the things that they do. And this was a message that came through in someone else's reading, and maybe it was Taurus's, that just because you can understand why people do the things they do doesn't mean you should like allow them to do it. And there's a feeling here of, well, people know the truth, or like people know me, or people are smarter than that. So like they're gonna know if this person is pulling their leg. They're gonna know if this person is accusing me of something that they know I wouldn't do. In actuality, you may be giving people far too much credit, especially I feel like you're giving people far too much credit. I'm hearing go along. You underestimate how often people will just go along with a story or a narrative because it's convenient, or because it gives them something to talk about, or it's like the flavor of the week. But much like when a car is broken into and stolen and it's been driven around all crazy, a cop can like peep that car and run the license plate, and it might like go back to you, right, to your identity, to your house, but it's very clear that like you aren't driving the car. And so there seems to be some kind of exposure. When I first did the shufflemancy, which is a form of music divination, the first song that had come out was Judas by Lady Gaga, and I just saw an alert on my phone that says breaking news. I don't know what it says, but it says breaking news, that it may be very clear, or starting to become clear to people this month. I'm hearing perhaps towards the end of the month that certain people were actually the perpetrator of certain misgivings, of certain bad behaviors, and using you as an excuse, blaming things on you, acting as if you somehow inspired or provoked them into that action, though that's not true, or again, in some way trying to, in some instances, more spiritual instances, trying to cloak themselves in your energy in order to get away with waging certain witchcrafts or magics like on other people. But again, it's very clear that like you don't drive like that, and so there is like an energy of exposure that comes forward towards the end of the month. And again, you feel a bit disgusted, and you feel a bit offended and annoyed and really quite bored. It's sort of a feeling of, well, if people, everyone makes honest mistakes, but if you're really that stupid, it feels like, I don't know, there's something about it that it's like the meanest word you could use just so interesting. But if you could be so stupid as to believe that, and that is what I would do, and that person is clearly full of shit, then like you're not tall enough to ride this ride, babe. Like you can't come. And so sometimes, how do I want to phrase this? Hold for production. I like this innovations, new creation at the bottom of the deck. I want to phrase this properly because we are in the neighborhood of a Mercury retrograde. Sometimes we tell people as mysticals, psychics, that you have to be mindful like what you do and how you treat people. And a lot of times people will assume it's because of karma, right? It's because of consequence. Like, don't mess with the chosen ones because then God's gonna mess with you. Karma's gonna come for you. And that is a thing, that's true. But a lot of times there are warnings. Hey, don't do that. Hey, don't lie on Cancerians. Hey, don't throw your rock and don't hide your hand. Don't do that. Not necessarily because like karma will come back around, which it does. And this is especially in regards not to the people who throw rocks, but to the people that pretend like they don't know who threw them when they do, is that sooner or later, justice and balance and exaltation comes. This is this new season you're moving in, right? Balance is coming, justice is being restored, you are being exalted, you are exalting yourself, which I think is a beautiful thing, and pushing yourself into better environments. There are people, Cancer, who would have been able to come with you, who would have been lifelong friends, people that you would be able in your high and holy seasons to go, oh, this guy, pat him on the back, been with me for years, always stood by me, always believed in me, even when I looked like an idiot, even when it looked like nothing was gonna happen. They would have been part of that success story. And when I'm seeing parachutes, they would have been able to have been gifted parachutes of privilege through their proximity to you as you are entering in to, I want to say, the abundant half of your life. But, and this is for a lot of them, again, the people in the crowd, but because they are so stupid, or because they were so foolish or lazy or socially inept to actually believe some of the rumors or misgivings or lies about you, they are no longer granted, again, attendance or entry into your spaces. There actually may be quite a few significant occasions coming up for you. I'm seeing weddings, I'm seeing graduations, I'm seeing commencements, I'm seeing speeches, I'm seeing someone at like a podium with a trophy. It actually looks clear. I'm also seeing SAG-AFTRA. So 1323 on my clock as I say that. So some of you, again, you might be creatives, you might be actors, you might be winning awards, right? And this is things that might be coming up in, the next few months, the next few years, the next few decades for you. But that's what I'm seeing. Weddings, children, graduation, commencements, awards being won, SAG-AFTRA, like ceremonies. And it's almost like people who would have been in your thank you speeches, people who would have been godparents, people who would have been best men, best women, they're not there anymore. And so it's like part of their karma is not people lying on them. It's not people making up rumors or throwing rocks in their direction and hiding their hands. It's about the fact that they will have to like witness you rise, and that they are not going to be a part of your life. They will not be a part of those foundational cornerstone moments. They will not be part of those huge life events. They will not be part of the thank you and acceptance speeches. And they also, and this sucks, this is super shitty for them, especially I'm hearing in their like older years, that they also will not be guaranteed the parachutes. There's something about like Cancer's gonna be someone one day, I can tell, but it took a long time. It's taking a long time. And so people thought maybe they were wrong and thought maybe it was funny, or at the very least harmless is what I'm hearing, to hop onto the bandwagon of thinking that, and this is the specific wording that I'm hearing, that you ain't shit. You ain't shit, you never gonna be shit, and maybe you never were shit is the exact phrasing of how that comes through, which is not how yours seem to be speaking this month. That one day they were really going to need those parachutes again, the parachutes of privilege that come with the proximity of you, because it turns out, after all, that you are going to be someone, that you are going to become something, and there is a level of success. And again, all of these events that they're showing me, they're public recognitions of your success, of your abundance, of respect that is coming and due and owed to you. And it's like when you have that one friend who makes it, and they have the ability to pay your kids' hospital bills, or save the family farm, or they have the ability to get you in contact with someone, so that idea that you had that was never going to make it out of town hall can maybe actually get some funding or some investment. All that's gone now. All of that's gone. They didn't realize that you were their blessing. They treated you like a joke because in the moment and at the time, it was more convenient and opportunistic for them to align themselves with someone who seemed more powerful and maybe seemed more successful and maybe seemed like maybe they were shit. Maybe they seemed like they were hot shit. But in the long run, the chickens always come home to roost. And so again, there was something about like greener pastures we mentioned a few minutes ago, and about you actually, I see you standing in a pasture barefoot, and there's cows, which are a symbol of abundance. A fun symbol about cows as well, is that they always remind me about trash and treasure. That in the Western world, cattle are like a dime a dozen, right? It's just a hamburger. It's just, we really don't value them in the way that we should. But in other cultures in the East, oftentimes cows are considered sacred, not to be eaten, not to be harmed, not to be touched. And it reminds me, when I look at cows and I think of that kind of cultural symbolism around them, that you may be in places that do not value you, do not respect you, and you may enter into other spaces that see you as sacred, worth respect, worth protecting, worth investing in. And so one, I want to say there's sort of like a Pretty Woman moment that you're having, and maybe that's part of like your exit statement this month, is like that big mistake with like all of the shopping bags in your hand. There might be something about shopping new clothes, updating your wardrobe, your look, that is like significant and kind of like a tie here in here for you. But you know, one of the lessons that they taught me in Sunday school about Judas is that, you know, without Judas, Jesus really wouldn't have been able to become Jesus. He wouldn't have been able to have been exalted in the way that he did. Someone had to betray him. And at the Last Supper, he knew who it was going to be the entire time, right? And so I do think, on one hand, I do think there is a little, again, surprise and offense and disgust in your energy of like, you expected the person who threw the rocks, but you didn't expect everyone else to kind of go along with it just for going along's sake. But I also think there was a little bit of wishful thinking in your energy when it came to some of these surrounding people, that longevity, that long-term loyalty, that familiarity would have made the difference. Again, you've known me a long time. Like, you know the kind of person I am. Like, why would you believe that? Or why would you assume that? Or why wouldn't you ask me? That, I think, is like you giving people, I don't want to say the benefit of the doubt, but like the benefit of the benefit of proximity, of like, you have been close enough to see, so I expect you to know. And again, that may be where you are overestimating other people. But I don't think you will again. I don't think you will again. And I'm hearing, I'll have your people call my people. So there's also something about, as you move forward, there might be people that reach out. And I'm hearing reach back. Reach out and reach back. And I'm hearing you, and I'm hearing them like reach out and reach back to you of like, oh, it's so nice to see you doing so well. Oh, I want to catch up. Oh, I always knew. And then leading in with almost as if they're happy or they want to congratulate you, and then kind of sneaking something in about something that they need. And I hear you going, I'll have my people call your people, right? And then of course they never do. So I feel like there is a feeling, it's like the full evidence of it isn't revealed, but there is a feeling here from people of, oh, I might have hitched my wagon. I feel like I have chills all over my body. I feel like I hitched my wagon to the wrong horse. I feel like maybe I placed my bets wrong. I think maybe I might have bit the hand that fed me. Because just because you weren't feeding them then, when you didn't have any morsels to share, you couldn't turn the one fish into 20, right? You couldn't take one loaf and turn it into 40. Doesn't mean that you were never going to be able to. I feel like very emotional in this energy. It's like, you son of a bitch. It's like, no, I couldn't do it then, but like one day I was going to be able to do it. I can't believe, it's the energy of Judas. So what do we have out here? We have card number 15. That is the energy of the devil in the major arcana. And here we have deep emotions, unknown feelings, and past life influences. So for some of you, I do feel like some of these, the person who throws the rock is like kind of your antagonist in like every reincarnation. And part of their lesson, and one day or one lifetime, they'll learn that like being a shitty person like really doesn't get you to the top. It really doesn't. And that people remember that like on their way down, how you treated them. But I think some of these other people, I'm hearing good for the goose and good for the gander. And I'm seeing like a big hand like kind of wipe them all out like simultaneously. It feels a little bit like Noah and the Great Flood, to be honest with you. But there will be a commonality between the karma or the disappointment or the experiences between these external people that went along just to go along. And even if they don't say anything to each other, there will be kind of this like quiet noticing of a pattern of them all going through something very similar, and how it being complementary to what they did or did not do with or for you. Yes? But some of these external people, it feels as though they had, let it fully clarify what they're saying, because it's important. You son of a bitch. You stupid son of a bitch. I hear them praying. It's like a little window they're showing me into like a former life. And they're showing me these people watching you and praying for you, for your help. And so in this life, their prayers were answered. God, the universe, the cosmos put them in close proximity to you. Because they wanted that. They wanted to be in close proximity. They knew that you would be a parachute. They knew that you would be able to protect them, or provide from them in some way, because you needed support, you needed community, you needed love, you needed pillars, you needed people, is what I want to say, Cancer. You needed people. And so the divine said, all right, you want their privilege, you want their power, you want their protection, like you're praying like, oh, if only. It's kind of like the lady who was like chasing after Jesus to like touch his hem. They have some of that energy. Like if I can only just touch Cancer's hem, right? Then like I know that like I'd be okay somehow. Or if I could just like be in their circle or be close to them, I'd learn something, or I'd be blessed too, right? So the universe said, all right, well, you know what? Cancer could use more people. They could use some support. They could use some community. All right, we'll put you in proximity with them this life. And then they went and they did that, and it sucks. It's like I'm flabbergasted, which is not a word that like I can remember using anytime soon, but I'm like flabbergasted by it. It's like they prayed to be in proximity to you, and that's exactly what they got. And then for the sake of like a better deal or a funnier joke or a more instant gratification hit of like social validation or a little pop of power, it's like they threw it all away. It's like kind of deplorable, honestly, like from where I'm sitting. And on the bottom of the deck, we have twin flames, and it's in reverse, right? So it's like one flame is being put out and one flame is being ignited even larger. Deep flames, Deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences. I also see this as you putting your crown back on, Cancer. There's something about, like, I feel like she took it off. She kind of turned it sideways and was like sharing it. Like everyone can get on like this sphere here. It's like each one of these is a seat for everyone. Like step onto your place, like I'll step onto mine, and like we'll all rise on the platform together. But that's not obviously how things went down. So it's like you seem to be taking it back. You're taking back some kind of power. You're taking back some kind of proximity. And again, like you seem to be making some kind of big mistake, some kind of pretty woman exit statement in regards to this to people. Yeah, well, yeah, look at that. So we have card number 33, a master number. I also relate 33 to the Hecate. Building your own world, creation, expansion, and networking. And here, it's like just a seat for one. It also has a bit of a beam me up Scotty energy, but she's sitting inside of a large tree trunk, which can talk about ancestry, lineage, stability, a home, kind of like an owl. There's also, you know, there's a like a hole here in the middle of this tree that obviously she's occupying a bit like an owl. And archetypally in an illustration, when you see a hole in a tree, it can often indicate a wounding or like a trauma, something hurtful that had occurred. And so I see you taking time this month to quietly repossess areas of your life that have felt wounded by the neglect or the abuse of others, and pouring all of your light and your healing and your magic into yourself and into those spaces, as opposed to in the external world around you. There's also some kind of, again, deep deity communication or spiritual communication. Your claircognizance and audience feel very, very heightened and very, very clear. This gold jewelry is also really significant somehow. I don't know if there is a particular piece of gold jewelry, if you'll be guided to adorn yourself more significantly this month if you don't normally wear like a lot of jewelry or do yourself up in any way. I also feel like this has kind of a prayer closet type of feeling that very well could be in nature. There could be like a specific tree that you feel a kinship with, or a little nook or a little bush, or again, maybe it's a literal closet or room in your house, but this feels like a sacred space where you go and you pray and you cry and you meditate like an altar. And here you could see her arms crossed near the heart, but they're not blocking the heart. So this situation, while perhaps it has forced a thicker skin upon you and a uncomfortable reality of the world and people, it hasn't totally blocked your heart or shut down your emotional center. You're still like a deeply feeling, a deeply knowing, and a deeply loving person, which I absolutely like love for you. And there also is some blue coming off of her hands as well. I don't typically read on or mention like interdimensional energies, but this does give me a little bit of a Sirius energy, like Sirus. And so there might be something here about, again, celestial bodies, that there might be something here about constellations, about interdimensional alien-like civilizations. I try to stay away from some of those theologies because they can quickly find us down some very odd pipelines, right? But I also don't want to deny the integrity of some of those experiences, right? So that might be something that is really significant for you, especially with all of these bumblebees. There's like kind of a cosmic bee type of energy that I feel here. But I also see that there's something growing. So you seem to be restoring or regrowing, again, areas of life. There's like a new veil. I don't know how well you can see, but you can kind of see like this honeycomb, like ashy gold. It feels like there's something about like a new veil. She also looks a bit like the High Priestess. And so it's almost like getting off of the High Priestess throne that you would normally see in like a regular tarot deck, and like sitting in a different High Priestess throne. Almost like there's different entry points. It's like you're entering into the spiritual realm through a different doorway than like you normally would. So that's interesting as well. So you might be also changing some of your like spiritual crew or community that surrounds you in some way. We have opening the heart that comes up next. It is in reverse, but it's number 11. So 11 is upright, regardless of what direction it's facing. I feel like your heart is already open. This says deep connections and water blessings. I think this is representing the tide going out with you, and a lot of people being kind of stranded on the sand without your blessing over them. So there's something about your magic no longer protecting or providing or guiding for other people anymore in the way that it did. So we also have the old style tarot that I have chosen. It's really beautiful. What do we have on the split? The 6 of Wands and the 9 of Wands, right? So you're right to be cautious and protective of yourself and your energy moving forward. I like that she's covering her crown here. So again, there's something about spiritually you are denying other people to communicate or to connect with your energy in a way that I'm hearing speaking to me is a privilege. You do not have privileges. So there may be people around you that, whether or not they're active practitioners, are spiritually gifted or in some way are connected to your energy, and you may feel them trying to connect or tap in or communicate or some sentiment that like they wish that you'd get, and you seem to be like blocking and denying it. You seem to be blocking and denying it. You do not have privileges. You don't get to speak to me. So let's say, okay, so we're at the 2 of Swords. So when it comes to other people, like they're really viewing you as quite blocked off, but also like unguarded in some way. You might be coming off as defensive. We don't see her face on, right? We don't have her a full frontal. We have her in profile. So people are only seeing, again, half of the story. And so you might be coming off to people as defensive. And again, there's something about like you seeming kind of unguarded, like alone, like there aren't people around you. Maybe it doesn't seem like a lot of people have your back. Like there isn't a lot of people in your corner. Like you're kind of just like solo dolo. And maybe people think that's why you're being like overly defensive, or like you're keeping a lot of protection around you. They don't realize, again, that like they only have half the story, and there's a reason for that. Your eyes are also blindfolded here, so there might be something here as well about people thinking, the 2 of Swords, fun fact, is my little Priestess card. The High Priestess and the Major Arcana is Trump 2. This is the minor 2, so I call her my little Priestess. With your eyes blindfolded here, people might be thinking that like you don't have a sense of direction. Again, like whatever it is that you're doing or you're working towards, it has taken and it is taking a very long time. So on one hand, I don't necessarily like blame them for thinking like, maybe this is kind of a long shot, like maybe Cancer overshot it, like maybe this is a pipe dream, this isn't something that's going to happen. But sometimes good things take time, and that's what faith is. Faith is belief in things not yet made evidence, right? So these people have also, they're showing me the 5 of Pentacles. These people in a way have also demonstrated to you that they are spiritually bankrupt, that they don't have faith, they only have ego, and they only have like giggles. They only got cheap jokes. And I'm hearing, what is that Sia song? I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I love cheap thrills. People might be thinking you're a little bit like, especially if you do something in any kind of like leadership position, they might think that like you're the blind leading the blind. Like you're leading a chain of fools. Like you're just one link in a chain of fools. Because again, it doesn't seem like anything is materializing and you're just sitting here on this big stone, like on this big rock. They don't realize that, you know, part of what these swords do is they chisel and they carve it into a throne. But in terms of symbology, blindfolds, they speak to impartiality, that it's not about what someone looks like, it's not about how much money someone has, it's about literally the facts, about it's about the energy and what the energy is saying. It's about what the facts say. It's not about being able to call in a favor. It's not about being able to phone a friend. It's not about being able to put on a good show or dress yourself up. Dress you up in my love. It's not about being able to dress yourself up in some way. Oftentimes, older versions of the Justice card, the Two of Swords are depicted with that blindfold. A lot of that comes from the idea of like the goddess, like goddesses of justice and goddesses of liberty, blindfolding themselves to be able to be impartial judges of matters, and not allowing whether how good someone does and does not look, to be able to influence their decision. Even like the identity, like a pauper and a king could both come before a judge, and if they're blindfolded, they can't tell who's in rags and who's in jewels. All they hear is the fact of the case. All they are listening for is the truth in the energy. This is what you're doing right now. And so there's something about like you sharpening your knives, and like, so I wonder if maybe some people think, I don't know, like you're gonna get revenge, when you're not actually out for revenge, you're just out to cut ties. The Ace of Wands. So what you're really, especially underneath this building your own world, what you're valuing, what you're investing in, what is worthwhile for you is that which grows. New energy sources, new connections, reconnecting to passion, the lighter side of life, and things that actually are able to bear fruit. You will know them by their fruit. Also, I love that this Ace of Wands, it is the spark of life itself through nature, as opposed to like a baton or an actual wand, which can also be considered like a weapon. So again, you're much more focused and willing to invest your time, effort, money, whatever it is, into growth, areas of growth, and not areas of defense. And again, this is where people are like they're not understanding you. They think that because you seem off on your own and you've got these two swords in your hand, that like you're looking to brawl, when like really you're looking to carve, you're looking to chisel, you're looking to create. It's like, it's so like the difference between like what you're focused on and what these people think you're focused on, it's so night and day. It's like it's like, I don't know if they ever knew you actually to begin with. Now we have the Knight of Swords and the Four of Wands coming out, so this is good news. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. He's got the 4-1-1. He's always hot off the press. And again, the Four of Wands, it is birth. It is weddings. It is graduations. It is public recognition. It is celebration. It is happiness. But it's also, with this 11-11 here, it's about attendance. Not everyone gets into the wedding. Not everyone gets into the Met Gala. Not everyone gets into the SAG-AFTRA Awards. Not everyone gets a seat at your college graduation, right? It's like you're only allotted so many tickets. And so people it will start this month, but it will not end ever. Mark my words, it will start this month, it will not end ever. That people will be hearing about the good things that are happening to you, the blessings that are coming, the things that you are accomplishing, the things you are overcoming, the good things that are coming into your life while they are locked outside the garden gates. And this actually looks like a screen to me. Like just with here, it looks like a little like phone screen. So I wouldn't be surprised this month if like the amount of eyes on your pages, your Instagram, your Facebook, your whatever, are much increased. It's like all of a sudden now everyone wants to know what you're up to, because they can feel you detached from their energy. Now we have the Six of Pentacles coming out. So this is really showing us that like where you come from, the people that were surrounding you, your family, like all of like that fourth house energy, it was very transactional. It was based on the haves and the have-nots, what people could get out of you. If they couldn't, then they were gonna get it without you somewhere else. People intentionally maybe keeping you in a lower station in order to exalt themselves. Also people feeling like obligated or forced in some way to like show up for you or help you, even though maybe they didn't like you or like they didn't want to, seeing you again as like beneath them in some way, but needing to maintain or upkeep some kind of appearance of niceness or goodness. This is likely the people that throw the rock and then hide their hand and like point it at you. Almost like, well, can you blame Cancer? Like, look what they come from. Or look who raised them. Or look who, you know, you just feel bad for them. They have this dream. And it's so fucking delusional, you know? It makes you feel bad. It's very much of that energy. It's really gross. It's really gross. There's, and specifically the word I'm hearing is hubris. It's the hubris that really offends the divine. And I'm hearing, in a lot of instances, the cruelty was the point. And a lot of this, truthfully, was in an effort to embarrass you. It feels like there, in some way, shape, or form, there was a desire to humble you or to embarrass you. It's like a humiliation ritual or something. Well, that's nice. So now we're looking at the Sun and we're looking at the Page of Pentacles. So it feels like areas where you are reinvesting in your joy, in your creativity. Again, like your 5th house energy. This is where we also see children, craftsmanship in a lot of ways. We see the Sun, which is the happiest card in the deck. It's inner child energy. It's new connections coming in. It's also revitalized health and positivity. The Page of Pentacles is deeply invested. They're starting new things. And so I see you starting new passion projects, maybe, you know, a very important one specifically. But I see, especially with the Sun here, you're reverting your attention to places, again, that Ace of Wands, to areas of growth, to areas of sustenance. You are being revitalized in your passions. Look at the Sun too. Can I just show you like how the Sun is side-eyeing this character? In the 6 of Pentacles, she has her back to the Sun and her nose as high as it can go. And meanwhile, like, there's already new people starting to come in for you, which I absolutely love. But this is definitely a revitalization of your passion, of your energy. I like that the Sun also looks a bit like a compass. So clarity in your direction and what you're doing, and specifically how you're going to do it, is really coming into view. You have some new like entrepreneurial ventures as well. Like there's new money coming in, and there's opportunities to make opportunities for yourself that are coming in as well. Also, in some of these new areas and spaces that you're moving into, like the things that you're into and that you're trying to create, they're not jokes to people in the future. They don't think it's stupid. They don't think it's funny. They think it's a good idea. They think, oh, this is real. This is true. There's also something about this pentacle that's so large. It looks a little bit like one of those lifesavers, like the candies, like one of the green lifesavers, which I think are like kiwi or like apple or something. So that might be a candy that you are like eating right now or enjoying right now, one that someone likes, or it quite literally might be like a pun about these opportunities for you moving forward are like lifesavers. They're like flotation devices. So so we have the Hierophant coming out. This is going to represent your 6th house of daily activity, health, the things that we clock in and we clock out of, our daily work. This is very structured, orderly, traditional. You really don't seem to be playing games with anyone. And again, I don't know if or where you have Capricorn or Saturn in your chart, or maybe if it's in your North Node, but you really seem to be tapping into a lot of Saturnian energy. I know the Hierophant is an extension of Venus via Taurus, but there's something very structured. We have rules around here. That comes from the Hierophant. We don't do anything just because we want to do it. Like, we have rules, we have a process, we have a system of accountability. We have a hierarchy that we go through before we do shit. It's not lawless around here, right? And there's something about the Hierophant that's like, I am the law. And so in terms of your 6th house, I think that like your daily routine and like structure is getting much more stable. It's getting much more solidified. If you felt in any way like kind of blown to the breeze, you will not be feeling that way. You actually feel like you're moving into a time of deep discipline. Deep discipline. A lot of this is emotional discipline, so as to not allow yourself to be emotionally taken advantage of or swindled, perhaps in the way you have in the past. But you definitely feel like you're not just on the ball, it's like you're on the stone. This also might be incorporating or being more disciplined about incorporating, especially with this building of your world and some of like this deity energy that was coming in earlier. You might also be much more disciplined about your daily spiritual practice as well, especially coming out directly underneath the little Priestess. The Six of Wands, great. So in your 7th house, this is love, sex, and relationships, and also known enemies. We have the Six of Wands. So in front of the people that, again, have set themselves out against you, have thrown rocks and hid their hands, like, you are coming out victorious, and you are really being celebrated, like, in these new spaces and in these new areas. And again, with that Four of Wands, there might be like a specific event that you have this month, a birthday, again, a graduation, a party, a wedding, or something, and people specifically online, like, they might see you and you are looking good, better than they expected you to look. You are looking happier than they expected to look, more healthier, more well off than you expected to look. And you also have people around you that seem like they want you around. They're happy you're here. You're not a joke to them, right? And so these are the supporters in the cards, except for this guy. Except for this guy who's like, wait, these people aren't supposed to like you. They're not supposed to take you seriously. They're not supposed to see you as, like, triumphant over this. It's like they, in some way, again, exalted themselves over you. But in these other spaces, people see you as the victor for having overcome them. So again, like, there's this role reversal thing that's happening. So I like this in your 7th house because you are clearly winning quite loudly in a variety of different ways, especially socially, in front of people that wanted you to be embarrassed or humiliated or feel othered or undered in some way. I also think that the Six of Wands, it's Jupiter in Leo. It's a very attractive energy that, in terms of new suitors, whether that's professionally, creatively, socially, romantically, people are really attracted to. They want to throw, I want to feel like this laurel wreath here is like people throwing their hat in the ring of, like, wanting to work with you, collaborate with you, be with you, hang out with you. It's really, it's actually a really, really nice energy. So in your 8th house, right, Scorpionic, death, rebirth, alchemy, we have the Ten of Swords. Of course we do, right? So this is, again, a lot of what you're recovering from. The thing that's interesting here is he's stabbed in the front and not in the back, right? And so for some reason, I feel like these are like, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, like little underhanded comments, little passive aggressive this, little quips here, little quips there. Or again, like, people just, like, outwardly not supporting you. That's like a sword. People going along with, like, some kind of false narrative about you, that's a sword. It's like all of this stuff was happening, like, right in front of your face. There is this vulture here, though, which I think is really interesting. Almost like it, I don't know, like it was coming to finish you off, but it didn't realize that you have this shield in your hand. And so it feels like this vulture represents the spirit of, or that walks with the person who throws the rocks in the first place, coming now that it seems as though they've won in the court of public opinion, or it feels as though, again, you've been silent for so long and not advocated in your own defense or for your own story, that now they get to come and, like, kind of pick the spoils of, like, whatever's left of you. But they don't realize that, again, you have this shield in front of you. And it's directly underneath that Knight of Swords and that Four of Wands. So there's something about people this month seeing you supported by others, celebrated by others, looking better than they thought that you would, and they're realizing that in some way, like, they're not needed, that, like, they're not the only source of support or power here, and that if they want to come pick your bones, they're actually going to have to get through quite a few people that actually do give a shit about you. Or at the very least, with this shield in your hand, that you're, like, not going down without protecting yourself. And again, this might be where you have that exit statement, like, oh, by the way, I know you've been cheating on your taxes, or oh, by the way, I know you've been stealing money out the drawer, or oh, by the way, I know you've been cheating on your girlfriend, or oh, by the way, you know, like, I don't know if you're actually going to do that, because it actually feels kind of beneath you. I'm hearing whisper. There might be, like, a quiet truth that you whisper to someone that lets them know that you also have leverage and ammunition against them. You just choose not to use it because you're not a piece of shit. The World card. So in your 9th house, spirituality, higher learning, your Jupiter house, we have the World, which is, other than the Sun card, the most positive card you could get in any reading, in any placement, at any time. This is a card of positive omens, successful completions, brand new sparkling beginnings that are marked Six of Wands with success. This is also about being insulated and protected by the divine, like really across the board, as we looked at these fixed signs in all of these corners. And your 9th house of spirituality and higher learning, you're getting a lot of insight into the world and how it works, how the divine moves throughout the world, how the divine is setting you up for success moving forward. There's also some healing. There's some gifting that's being done here. If you notice this character right here, see how he's kind of poking her with this little quill? He's writing something. I feel like you're receiving, this feels like Archangel Raphael, that you might be receiving some metaphysical healing to help undo what was done to you, because there are spiritual harm as well as physical and mental harm that was done to you that must be rectified. So a little bit like in Miss Congeniality, before they put her in the Miss America pageant, or Katniss before they put her in the Hunger Games, they give them a makeover, right? And they strip them and they wash them and they wax them and they whiten their teeth and they do that. You have like a bit of that energy here as well. It's almost like I'm catching you in the dressing room, like mid makeover. So there also might be some secrets to healing. Temperance might be a card that is present a lot for you this month. Some secrets of healing, secrets of glamour, some spiritual secrets that might be some, I'm hearing like tricks of the trade that also might be illuminated for you. Okay, so next we have your 10th house. This is your public house. This is your career. This is your reputation. You have 3 cards coming out. The first of which is the 4 of Cups, right? And it's right underneath it. It's hidden. It's the fucking star, if you can believe it. So again, publicly, the way people are seeing you or seeing the progression of your career, it's almost like, oh, poor Cancer, if they would only just accept this other cup, if they would only just get off this path and go do something new, if they would only just give up the gig, right? It's like, party's over. Don't they get it? So it's like, and I hate it. I don't like it, but the word like pathetic is coming forward. It's like, we love Cancer, but they're just, I just can't believe, like, if they would just give it up, right? Like, obviously, and with the angel here, that feels very fucking taunting to me, like people using your faith against you. Like, if God really wanted them to do that, don't you think he would have shown up by now? Like, don't you think he would have helped by now? And my left ear is ringing as I say that. But what they don't realize, boop, is underneath it, is that you're actually the star. And again, like, you're in a very similar position as you are here in the World card, that you are, one, you're healing. You are a representation of hopefulness and faith in motion for the world around. You're doing 2 things at once. You're trying to create in the physical world while also restructuring the spiritual ecosystem that you inherited from your ancestors, that you naturally have star power. That's why they were drawn to you in the first place. They're just not smart enough to recognize it. That you were also, much like everyone else, under the guise of divine timing and astrological transit as well, that you are ruled by a celestial body, and so you must move with the celestial bodies as well. And then there's another card. What is it? Death. So again, people see you very mistakenly as if like things are just getting worse. Poor Cancer won't give up this dream. This is so pathetic. I can't believe it. Again, with the Death card, death is a lot about identity. It is about transformation, right? And that rebirthing energy, but it's really the death of an identity. And so again, that's part of that, like, won't they just give it up? Won't they just give it up? Okay, I see there's a couple people that buy into Cancer saying, there's a couple people that like them. And I can see like some things happening for them, but generally speaking, it really doesn't look great. I wish they just give up this title. I wish they just give up this identity. But again, you are the star, and stars only come out when it's dark at night. And so I almost feel like, and I did say something about almost like Noah's Ark, or like a big hand like wiping everyone out, and people noticing, though not discussing amongst themselves, that like there's kind of a theme between like the karma or the consequence that everyone is experiencing that kind of feels like death, and how death is indiscriminate, how it comes for us all. And this sun here It's rising up right behind this castle or this estate, but death is in front of it, almost like a protector. So something that had come through in another reading, I don't remember which one now, it was the idea of maybe sometimes there may be darker spirits, the dark side of the moon, the infernal divine, Catonic gods, whatever it may be, that will also like ride forth to protect you. And again, you may be feeling like, well, where the hell were you guys the whole time? Like, this could literally be like a Catonic god that represents death. This could be the Morrigan. This could be Hades, right? This could be Anubis, yes? That's like riding in and like acting as a protector. Like, there's something that they're noticing right as they start to like untie their belt, so that way they could get a big belly laugh at your expense, is that all of a sudden there is this like spiritual presence that has the ability to strike fear into people's hearts, that's clearly protecting you. And so that's something as well that's coming forward. So, you know, publicly, again, people are like, will they just give it up? This looks ridiculous. Where is their God? If it really is with them, where is their God? They don't realize that you've been waiting for a very particular point in the timeline in order for you to really come forth and shine as the star. But it is very clear that you're going through some kind of transformation. And again, people aren't particularly privy to it, but the ones that are important are, and do, and have the insight and the intel. Even in this star card, I notice how there's this gorgeous plant, right? Just like that Ace of Wands, just like this building of your world. But she's in front of it, like she's guarding it. And so it's also like very clear in a way that like you've got something going on. Like death gives me kind of this suspicious energy. Like, what is Cancer guarding? Like, what are they doing? What are they protecting here that like we don't know about? So again, similar to that like Two of Swords, like other people might be seeing you as like withholding or suspicious or sneaky, when in actuality, like they're fucking withholding, and they were withholding support and communication and honesty from you, and they're sneaky. Classic case of projection. But in your 12th house, this is your Piscean house of illusions, of secrets, of magic, but also of like self-undoing at times too. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So again, there's something about your spiritual life that's being revitalized. You're being crowned in some way. I also feel like you're being given a gift, especially with the Knight of Cups at the bottom, who is an accompaniment to death. You'll notice they're the only two knights in the tarot that both ride in on white horses, and their body language is typically very, very similar. We were also talking about that angel in the Four of Cups, and here there's two angels, and they almost look like two little baby cupids. So there's something really interesting here in that 12th house about blessings, about what do I want to say? About blessings and opportunities that are coming in for you, and perhaps especially underneath like that Sun and the Page of Pentacles and sort of that world energy, that idea of like the tricks of the trade, that like you're getting some insight into how to like conjure up more opportunities, or how abundance, it's sort of like plucking pentacles just like out of the air. People might be really confused moving forward, like how you have been able to bounce back so quickly. It's almost like it's like liquid luck, which I think was the name of a Pisces reading I did like 5 years ago. You can find it on my old channel. There's something funny here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what Spirit's telling you, but they're telling you it's like you're like the magician. It's like alchemy, how to turn the water into wine, and you are, and you're starting to do it. And I'm also seeing I'm seeing casinos, I'm seeing slot machines. So again, it's a lot of this Wheel of Fortune energy, and with the Knight of Cups and like those baby cupids, there's something about the divine like baby cupid kind of coming in like Eros and like shooting people, new people, with like these little love darts. And so there might be a lot of people that are like really enamored with you, like really enamored with you, and like really find you very attractive, and are very, again, underneath that Page of Pentacles, very interested in what you're doing, and they think it's a good idea. It kind of reminds me of in like the old Orphic hymns and myths, and like the Iliad and the Odyssey, how goddesses like Athena would make Odysseus, and I use this example sometimes, when he would have an important meeting with someone, she'd make him taller and his hair darker and thicker and his beard more lush and his muscles more plump, and she'd make him tanner and more glowy. Like, she'd really amp him up so they were like, ooh, like bedazzled by him, right? I feel a lot of that energy. And at the bottom, we have you. We have the Chariot card. All of the energies consolidated in the right place, with you being in the right mindset to move forward on purpose with a purpose, the Charioteer. And now I want to say you're not just on your time and your business, now you're on God's business in a way that people didn't expect you to be before. And what do we have on the split? We have the Queen of Cups, we have the Knight of Cups, we have the Two of Pentacles, and then we have the Ten of Cups, which is always ancestral support. People fucked up. People really blew it when it came to you. And I'm really sorry for that. I want you to know, and it ain't my fault, but I'm sorry that you had to go through any of this. I'm sorry that people were so blinded by their own ego and ignorance that they couldn't see greatness when it was like brewing right in front of them. What do we have here? Shamanic journey, purpose, attunement, vision quest. Here's that white horse. Again, white horse. It has that hero energy. I'm really sorry that people didn't recognize greatness when it was brewing right in front of them, and you had to get through some Judases before you could realize that you too could rise from the dead like Lazarus. But now that you do, just do me a favor and don't forget it. Don't forget that this happened. Don't forget the people that did that to you. Don't let them come back. And make sure that every success that you experience from this day forward, you savor it from both sides. Very good. Very good, Cancer. So this is what I have. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this, that it was supportive, that it was encouraging, that it affirmed and confirmed what you needed and what you know. I love you and I appreciate you taking this time to spend with me. If you do need some one-on-one attention, I do personal readings. My information's in the description box. Please like, share, and subscribe to my new channel over here. I'm excited to work with you guys, and I would love for you and your community, maybe not those people, but maybe your new community, to see what we have going on. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.